Okay, we're officially recording the first new. Is this the first new one of the new
Midweek Howl? Replays because you had too much.
I had too much stuff.
I just want the people, my fans, to know that you are the reason why we had to play replays, because you got a lot of stuff going on. Are you back from West Virginia, or did you even go?
Yeah, it's a one-day trip, man. We left. I picked my grandkids up yesterday morning at their grandmother's house, 7 o'clock, and drove to Bexley, right? Bexley, West Virginia. Beckley. I'm sorry, Beckley, West Virginia. Had a good meal at Cracker Barrel, which is probably one of my favorite places. And
my dad right there.
That's right. Is that saying something? He's got good taste.
Great. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. When my kids were little, they loved Cracker Barrel. I mean, that was a big deal.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's like a step up from Bob Evans in my book.
And now, like, my daughter would rather go to Chick-fil-A and wait in line for chicken nuggets. Yeah, I mean,
let me tell you something. So my daughter's mom. So she tells me on Friday I had the granddaughters for a couple hours, and she said, "Hey, I already got them snacks for the trip." And I'm like, all right, because I was going to take them to the grocery store, let them pick out some stuff.
Yeah.
So when we went to pick them up Saturday morning, this feed bag of snacks was something that I guarantee you and I didn't eat this much candy in the first 10 years of our life.
Well, at least it was candy. It wasn't. I thought you were going to tell me they got them some lettuce and some granola.
That's what they're going to get next time. Because let me tell you, they're going to have any teeth left. I mean, we weren't even out of the drive.
Don't they have sealants? Don't you teach those kids how to frickin' brush?
I don't know. Well, you can't. What's brushing going to do to a 10-pound bag of gummy bears chased down with a big bag of Skittles?
Well, I'm going to tell you what. I knock on wood. My table's metal, but I eat sugar like it's oxygen. Okay.
Oh gosh, I don't even like it. I don't even like it like that. That just doesn't even sound good.
And as long as you take care, maintenance, as long as you take care of it. Of course, I brush my teeth 2, sometimes 3 times a day, and I don't have any problems.
Well, I don't know how these 2 little girls, 6 and 4 years old, stuffed this much candy. When we finally dropped them off and we're taking the stuff out.
They're winners, Shane, and winners win.
They're winners.
Winners win.
Oh my goodness!
The biggest candy hogs I ever seen were women. Don't you remember in high school those teenage girls eating all that crap all the time?
I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that these kids. I don't even know how the seatbelt kept them strapped in to their car seats. They were so hopped up on sugar.
That doesn't matter either. That's a fallacy. That's like saying the freaking mask stops COVID. Them kids can eat all the sugar they want. It's not gonna cause them to jump around.
Really?
No.
Okay. Oh, okay. Come on,
dude. This is child. I'm gonna go on a limb here, huh?
All right, go on a limb.
The reason why you have multiple kids with multiple women is obviously you don't understand either. Okay, because
kids or women,
both. Yes, that's what I'm saying. If you could adequately manage sugar intake and knew what was going on, maybe you could just manage one set.
Oh goodness! Please, for all of our listeners, I'm not Sean Kemp out there with 13. Sean Kemp, the NBA player.
How many's he got?
Oh, he's got like 13 kids.
Okay. By how many different women?
Who knows? 7, 8. Okay.
No, numbers. I'm an Adrian Peterson guy. No. I mean, I don't even know where we're going. This we better get back on the road, Jack, before I freaking hit. But
speaking of,
I don't understand the need for babies' mamas like there are. But it's like, dude, can't you just get fixed?
Jeez.
Right? You know what I mean? They would if I was in the NFL draft or NBA draft, I wouldn't be there because I would be getting a vasectomy that night, the night of the draft night. You know what I mean?
Oh, I hear what you're saying, man. I hear what you're saying.
I mean, gee, Merry Christmas.
Well, anyway, speaking of getting back on the road, we finished dinner. Hannah and Josh took the girls. They were actually spending the night in a hotel, and Christy and I got back in the car after driving 5.5 hours, and drove back last night, which it was fine. The weather was, all the forecast for snow and stuff was a little exaggerated. So we had good weather. It was a good drive. Christy's a good navigator. We good traveling partner. So it was a nice little trip. But I'm, 11 hours in the car is a lot. I kept thinking,
oh, give me a freaking break. Are you kidding me?
Oh, jeez. All I'm saying is,
you're stirring me up. I mean, you said that on purpose, right?
Listen, all I'm saying is 10, 11 hours is a lot to be in the car in one day and still be home at the end of the day. Okay. Like we could have been in the Outer Banks or something. Could have been in Savannah, Georgia on vacation. We could have been I could have been to Cape Cod, all right, from my house. But to leave and be back and be actually driving for 11 hours, that's a lot to do in one day and not really be going anywhere. So that's all I'm saying. I didn't mean to get you stirred up. I know the sugar comment and I know that got you right. But anyway, yeah, I'm back from West Virginia after one day. But the reason we started this was you got a story you were getting told. Well,
I said I was regularly because my daughter, I was out there splitting wood. Well, first of all, let me back it up a little bit.
All right.
Okay. My freshman boy, as you know, he is 6'4" 3/4" on Friday in weight and 238 pounds. And he fancies himself a badass freshman football player.
Okay.
And then his partner, I took some boys up. I got a little piece of ground in North Missouri I go hunting on. And I need to go take my deer stands and blinds down. It's about to have a big snowstorm and a bunch of stuff. So the boys, my son wanted to know if this other kid could come over. And it goes to my high school. I kind of know some of his family members. He's the same age. And they are, I think they've been in 11 of the last 15 state champions for 2A football. It's where I went to high school at. Jeez, so this kid, he fancies himself a badass just by osmosis, like if you wear that color.
Yeah.
So they're supposed to have snow on 2 days this week. It's supposed to get super cold at the end of the week. So I had 3 kind of dead trees behind my house while they were out riding 4-wheelers this morning. So I took them up to my land yesterday. They rode 4-wheelers. So I worked like a dog to take all my hunting equipment down, half of which these kids use. And this morning they went out and ride their 4-wheelers. My wife and daughter went to church. I cut these trees up, and they weren't real big around, but they were dead. But they were big enough to split, and they were, super dead, right? So you could hit one hand with much of a splitting maul, and it split almost like kindling. Really, the good wood that you need. So then boys come back. They said, "Dad, is there anything we can do?" And I said, "Yeah, I said I split all that wood. All right, I said I cut all that tree up. I said get in my pickup because they're 15, So anything that's got to do with driving, they want to drive all the time. So I said, get in my pickup and back down there and loaded up I got an old work truck. I hate to use the term farm truck. And my old farm truck back down there and put all that wood. And I said, split what you can split and load it in the back of that truck and bring it over here by the side of the house. Okay, cool. I don't know. A short time went by. I don't know. It wasn't that long. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I hear the truck start up. I told my wife, I said, well, I guess they got it all loaded up. And I looked on the back porch. I walked on my deck and I could see a bunch of the wood that I had cut up laying there. So I said, hey, why are you leaving all that? Because they got to pick up there. It's not like I'm asking them to carry with a wheelbarrow or anything else, right? I said, how come you're leaving all that? Parker, that's his boy. He's got to go home. And I said, isn't that the truth? He's been here for 38 hours, and the minute I asked him to haul a little firewood in,
he's got to go home.
They got to go. You know what I mean? And so what? So my daughter was coming home from church, and she's about to be there. And anyway, make a long story longer, I asked my daughter, hey, would you take him home? Take his boy home? Just take my son and, take his boys and take Parker home. And anyway, so then I went out there and got in my work truck and pulled it down there in my farm truck, pulled it down there, and I started splitting and putting wood in it. You know what I mean?
Waiting for that call. Waiting for that call that you had to come home.
Do what?
Waiting for the call that you had to come home.
So I got this on the front porch. We got this fancy round ring that holds firewood. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And they think once that's filled up, they're always done.
Oh
When
God.
if it's super cold outside, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I run through that thing between me and the dogs. My dogs love a good fire. I mean, I run wood like it's, candy through my teeth. So I'm back here throwing wood in the back of my truck. My phone rings. It's my daughter. I'm thinking, oh my God, what happened? She goes, I just got pulled over. Now she's driving, which should be a normal, rational adult would be my truck. Okay. It's my 2016 Super Crew. And the windows are all what the young people are murder out, right? They're all black, super black, tinted, all the way around. And it used to have a big strip about 8 inches down on the windshield. You know how they do? Because the dude I bought it from, anyway, it's a long story, but the dude who used to drive it, that's the way he rolled. So when I bought it, now my windshield got cracked, so I had to put a new windshield in, and they said, you want us to replace that tint? And I said, hell no, that stuff's ghetto. So my daughter's like, I just got pulled over by a state trooper, and he says, my tint's too dark.
On her side windows and back windows?
The driver's side. Mm-hmm. The driver's side, the front windows, you can only get 17% dark, and mine are 35% on that truck.
But what's it matter if the windshield's not?
Dude, I just give about my daughter a 20-minute conversation. That's why I was late signing on here. That the few things modern law enforcement, any law enforcement, even back when I was a cop 25 years, they don't understand mathematics. They don't understand because she asked me how old I was when he had my driver's license. I said, well, it probably took him too much brain power to process the math, the simple math, to try to figure out,
See if she had a fake license or something, make sure.
I think, who knows? She said he was a sergeant. That's what my boy said. He's a sergeant with 3 stripes. I said, well, that's why. So he's in management. So, he's probably a simple son of a gun, What? I'm terrible, aren't I?
I got a text today from one of our loyal listeners, and one of the episodes apparently we just had played was one where you and I were talking about the member of the Mel Gibson Fat Man?
Yeah.
And she said, the Howler was a lot more optimistic back when you guys made that episode.
Why? What was I talking about that day?
I don't know. I didn't listen. Listen.
I'm on the top of the world.
Yeah.
Personally, I just hate it for everybody else.
Oh my gosh. So what happened? So she got a ticket for it?
No, she didn't get a ticket because she's not the registered owner. It's an equipment violation. State of Missouri, they have to go to the registered owner, not the driver.
Really? Okay.
So he gave her a warning, told her she gets 10 days to take it off, and he's going to put her in a warning system, and if she gets pulled over again, they'll know he warned her. She come home and asked me, and I said, that's all bullshit. They do that to scare kids that don't know any better. I said, but I'll pull it off tomorrow anyway. So
oh, God.
I said when that rule first came out in the early 90s, I was a street cop, and they used to, not me, I never jacked with anybody with it, they'd say, if you could pull it off before I get back from running your license, I won't give you a ticket. You'd have these guys, their tip would be, peeled halfway, and they just did it just to screw with people, and I'm not into screwing with people, so.
What's the purpose? You could still see out, right?
Back in the old days, in the 80s, they had, in Missouri anyway, they had a trooper that walked up to a van. There was 2 troopers. One stood in the back, and one was walked up there to a van with the driver's side, with the windows tinted out. Okay. And it was like a panel van that didn't have any windows except for the 2 in the back doors, and then the driver and the passenger side. And the driver got out with a Mac 10 or 11 submachine gun and fatally shot both of them, and the guy at the window died. And they blamed it on him not being able to see the guy had a machine gun until it was too late. When in reality, he stepped out with the machine gun and started shooting them. But as I told my kids earlier, when you're dealing with police officers, do not let the facts get in the way of what they're thinking, because they cannot be persuaded, usually.
So if they think you're doing something wrong, no matter what the facts are, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah, because, Freud used to say, don't believe everything you think. And I don't want to keep railing on cops because I'm pro law enforcement. I just know enough of them that sometimes it's not as simple as they want it to be. Right?
Yeah. That's kind of like my dad. Dealing with my dad.
What do you mean?
Well, once he had something in his head that's what you did, it didn't matter what the facts showed. You were getting in trouble for it.
Yeah, back in the old days, we used to call it contempt of cop, right? Not contempt of cop so much as that's what the prosecutor's office, because the worst thing you can do is get in a debate with somebody that thinks they're right where they are not. You know, that has the ability to write you a ticket or take your freedom or whatever. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because the further you go down that road with them, the less they're going to believe they're wrong. And they cross, excuse me, I don't want to use the term Rubicon, but mentally they cross a Rubicon that even though you're innocent or they're wrong, or, you know, the facts are not as they seem, right? They are not going to have, very few of them have the ego that will allow them to say, you're right, I was wrong, sorry about that. I thought you said this, or I thought you did that, or I thought I saw this. You know what I mean? Most of them just will not undo, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they'll go down with the shit.
And I mean, it's not just cops. I mean, you know, people at the post office probably the same way, right? That
yeah, postal management's the same.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So that they're going to ride that horse into the ground, whether it's right or not.
Now to switch gears here, and you know, because you brought it up the other day when you called me, you thought you hadn't heard from me because Missouri beat Ohio State so bad.
It wasn't so bad, was it?
Well, it was.
I mean, hell, Missouri didn't even score till like the fourth quarter, did they? Third quarter?
Yeah, it was
third and a half.
Yeah, no, it was an ugly game. But I just saw this today, and you being old school, I thought you'd enjoy this. So you remember old John Riggins?
Yeah, I know who he is. Mm-hmm.
So I got this thing. It says a reporter asked John Riggins if the 1983 Washington Redskins team could beat the current Washington team. And Riggins thought for a second, said, yes, but it'd probably be close, maybe 21-17. And the reporter asked, really, why would it be so close? And Riggins answered, because most of us are in our 70s. Oh, that, and you know, John Riggins, that's back in the day when they'd let you be a little goofy. You know, you were goofy just because your personality was, you know, for other reasons.
Yeah, I try not to sound like too much of a boomer. You know, that's what the people on Twitter rail on the boomers a lot. You know what I'm saying? And but there's certainly some attributes, not really true. You start out, time has a way of making things look a certain way to people that's experienced a few things. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And speaking of being a boomer, you know, I just saw, did you see we lost an actress from our younger days, Miss
the girl from Caddyshack,
Cindy Morgan.
Was she ever in anything else after that?
Lacey Underall, right? That's what she was in Caddyshack. Yeah, she was in Tron, I guess, but I never watched
the original Tron.
Yeah, I never watched the original. Terrible video game, and the movie never looked that good.
Well, you know, they were making such a big deal out of it earlier today, and was it earlier today when I started reading it last night, this morning, and you know, I saw that they kept showing the picture of her in Caddyshack, right?
Yeah.
And dude, she looked like a 14-year-old girl to me, or you know, a 14-year-old boy nowadays or something, because I just don't remember. Maybe I'm looking at it through old glasses, right? You know what I mean? Or whatever, but I thought she looks kind of cute, but I don't remember her being Daisy Duke.
Well,
you know what I mean?
When that movie was made, 79, 80?
I don't remember being Farrah Fawcett. I don't Wonder Woman. I mean,
she was for that time period. Yeah,
she wasn't Wonder Woman.
Well, she was a pretty attractive lady for that time period. I mean, she was classic that time period. You know, you know, what actresses and models and stuff look like in that day. Yeah. She said that I read a quote because I read a story on it. She said that her favorite scene from the movie was her and Chevy Chase, and he's at the piano singing stuff after, and he improvised all that. So it took her a couple beats to realize where he was headed.
He was just making it up.
He was just making it up, and that she was ready then to go along with it. And I mean, I just like that's just pure comic genius. Even though it's not like Shakespeare, but that's a pretty funny, enduring scene.
You don't think Shakespeare made it up as he was doing it? To be or not to be? That is the question.
It wasn't as iconically funny.
Well, it's because they didn't have a video recorder.
Yeah, but we're still reading it. You know,
are we? I mean, I don't read it. Do you read it?
Gosh, it's hard for me to even understand listening to it.
You know, when I listen to those Marin podcasts and these guys talk, the hoity-toities act like the theater is where the smart people work. You know.
Well, I think it's because it seems like it's such a, it's a monumental feat to be able to
memorize all the lines,
memorize all those lines, and do it night after night in front of a live audience. And I mean, you know, when you do stuff in the movies or TV, you get a couple takes, right? I mean, they can erase the mistakes. Theater, there's no mistakes. You know, that's why I'm afraid we do a live show. We can't go back and edit like, you know, we do on our shows now.
Well, just don't make mistakes.
Oh my God,
that's easy enough.
Now the one thing on the trip to West Virginia that I noticed, the gas prices fluctuated from Columbus to West Virginia, 60 cents on the same highway.
Where was it the cheapest? West Virginia?
Ohio. It was 203 or something, just outside of Columbus, where we get off to start down the 2-lane road.
Was that real gas or was that ethanol stuff?
That was real gas at Sheetz.
I don't know.
Yeah, I filled up. God, where did I fill up? I paid $2.60 something a gallon, and then we pulled off there, and Christy goes, you know, if you could have made it this far, you'd saved yourself $25. Like, it's just money, you know. What's the big deal? It cost me $20 in tolls. And
that's why the roads are so good. Not
in West Virginia.
Yeah,
in West Virginia. Then they had these signs that would say "dip," literally 6 feet before the dip. I mean, it was a bump, man. I mean, it shook the Suburban, and it was probably 5 different places. So I don't know if they were like had those there saying, "Hey, look, this is what maybe we'll get them fixed if you keep driving and paying the toll." But yeah, it was like just for that little stretch, it was like going and coming. It was like $17-18 or something. It was ridiculous.
Ridiculous. No, better not say what I was going to say.
Yeah.
What else? You got fan mail? You got any questions for our fans? What do you got going?
No, but I did want to say. So I heard this story, and I did not know much about this, or at least I didn't remember it. But that Gypsy Rose Blanchard or whatever got released from prison last week.
I don't know who that is.
Okay, so she wasn't
a Manson follower, was she?
She was not a Manson follower, although that would have been a great name for.
Because one of the Manson girls got out the other day, didn't she? About a month ago.
Yeah, which one was it? Squeaky?
I don't know, dude. Squeaky wheel gets the grease, I guess. The squeaky inmate gets the parole. I don't know. Makes sense.
So this Gypsy Rose. So here's her deal. Her mom was believed to have a disorder called the Munchausen syndrome by proxy.
Yep. Okay, I'm with you.
Okay. So this girl spent her whole childhood
thinking she was a boy.
No, with her mom claiming she had epilepsy, leukemia, and muscular dystrophy, and forced her daughter to use a feeding tube, shaved her head, and confined her to a wheelchair.
Didn't this girl just get so hungry one day just to take a bite out of an apple or something?
No, I don't know. But anyway,
I mean, my synapses are shortening out over some stuff like that.
So here it goes. So Dee Dee, the mom, said her daughter suffered from all this and confined. So the girl said she could walk unassisted, but went along with her mother's ruse in public. And then in 2011, the girl ran away to be with a man she'd met at a science fiction and fantasy convention. When her mom got her back and brought her home, she chained her to her bed for 2 weeks. And then the mom bought a gun. Well, when the mom bought a gun, apparently the girl grabbed the gun and ended up shooting her with it. But it was only a BB gun. So she thought she was going to kill her.
So it really wasn't a gun. So go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying. So then 4 years later, she met this other guy on a Christian dating site. The girl did.
Oh, that's where the stuff goes on.
That's where it's
I'm digging it already. Somebody's going to die, aren't they?
So she met Nick Godejohn about a year later on a Christian dating site. So this was about 2015. Blanchard thought she'd found her Prince Charming. Well, eventually she came to see her mother as a villain in their fairy tale romance, and the only way she could escape her manipulation would be to kill her. So, of course, the guy said, yes, I'll do that for you. So he goes to the house, and maybe that's even, what his title was, I'm a Christian boy, but willing to kill.
Well, I mean, sometimes, I hate to say this, but sometimes stuff's just got to be done. You got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. Now go ahead. Freedom isn't free, Shane. Do I have to remind you that freedom isn't free?
Freedom is free.
So go ahead.
So Gypsy Rose claimed she cowered in the bathroom as her boyfriend, her Prince Charming.
Victorious. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, God, that's a whole different one who got released. Then as he stabbed her mom to death in the bath or his bedroom. So then they went to his house and the police found him. She pled guilty to second-degree murder and was sentenced in 2016 to 10 years in prison. She was released.
But what I don't like about the story is, was she really treated like that and chained to a bed and all this crap?
Yes.
Why would she be guilty of anything except for saving the freaking state a little money? That's probably the problem. All these lobbyists and lawyers run state government says, man, if we just let people kill the trespassers, we won't need all these cops and lawyers and public defenders and prison beds. So we got to nip this in the bud.
Well, I can't argue with you that, if some of these other people are declared incompetent to be found guilty of murder. Okay.
Imagine there's more to the story. We're not.
Well, but no. I mean, imagine now the guy. I think he got life. Okay, because he actually did the killing.
Yeah, but for coming over there and saving this poor girl.
Well, at the time, I'm not sure that the mom had her confined to the wheelchair at the time. I think what it was is an accumulation of all those years of being. That's abuse, right? I mean, your mom makes you use a feeding tube because she won't let you eat because she wants to keep up the ruse that you're sick. That's definitely, if it's not physical abuse, it's definitely mental abuse.
What do you mean feeding you shit for 10 years ain't physical abuse?
No, I'm saying if you can't say it's physical abuse, at the very least it's mental abuse.
What state was this in? One of them blue states?
I think it was Missouri, to be honest.
Oh, they kill the shit out of people here for no reason. Get off.
I don't know. Let me see where it was. Yeah, she's 32. She talked like
What's her name? Dixie what?
No, Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I think it is Louisiana, maybe. Yeah, Louisiana.
Really?
Oh no. She got killed in Missouri. I was kind of
Springfield, Missouri. I'm reading right here, Greene County. Well, that's a bunch of libs down there. Found the body. I'm reading it right to here. Boy, mom looks like a friendly person. Doesn't she?
She looks a little. She looks a little.
That's a Facebook post. I'm going to tell you right now, if you're going to go out and do the Lord's work or the devil's work, for that matter,
stay off Facebook.
Stay off the Facebook, and don't be telling. Oh, Facebook convinced the police that Dee Dee might have fallen victim to foul play. Her wheelchair and medications are still in the house. Might have been abducted. Oh, shit.
Yeah, there you go.
Hold on. Was the old woman in the wheelchair or the gypsy was in a wheelchair?
I don't know. Maybe the old lady was in a wheelchair by the time it happened.
They frown on it. You go killing folks in wheelchairs. I worked with a cop that shot a dude in a wheelchair, which that's really nothing to be happy of.
What?
Well, they went to a half-assed domestic. What was that old Kenny Rogers song? Not Lucille. Was it Lucille? Don't take your love to town.
No, you picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille. I don't know what.
No, which one was "Don't Take Your Love to Town"? Ruby.
Oh God! So he had problems with Ruby and Lucille.
Well, the guy was in a wheelchair. Old Vietnam veteran, biker dude. And I forgot why he was wheelchair bound. And I had a domestic, and she wanted to leave, and he tried to stop her, and one thing led to another, and she called the police, and the police showed up and said, "We got to let her go, dude. You got to just chill." And from the wheelchair, somewhere in his wheelchair, his quilt and shit, he had tucked in I'm wanting to say it was a 45, but what I don't remember if it was a 1911 automatic or a Ruger Blackhawk revolver, whichever the case may be. He pulled out a 45, and this this gigantic, no kidding, this gigantic stud of a cop cleared leather and wasted him right there, and is ventilating him right there in his wheelchair in the living room. So ended it right there.
Well, I mean, wheelchair or not, if you pull out a 45, right?
Yeah, then the wife, I think, turned around and thought, well, he was just joking to get me back. Well, it's kind of hard to put that genie back in the bottle. You know what I mean? When you go to Glocktown right off the bat, Leadville gets rough quick.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the only thing he was missing was tinted windows. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
he was in the driver's seat. And, come on.
Uh-huh. Oh my gosh! I'm at one eye. I'm reading this. Habitat and Humanity built them for a little house with a wheelchair ramp and a hot tub for her.
Gypsy Rose.
Yes, Make-A-Wish Foundation took her to Miranda Lambert concert.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is that this lady.
So what I don't understand is, she just.
I don't know, man. The kid. I mean, I feel bad for the kid. It seems like at some point she just couldn't fight it anymore and lost her arms.
Yeah, she set up a GoFundMe to pay for the funeral expenses. Hey, before they even found the body, I guess. I'm just freaking. That's a clue. Even modern law enforcement will figure that one out. Yeah, there was a friend that found 911 to wait for a search warrant. When police arrived, they had to wait for a search warrant. That's not really.
Why would you have to wait for a search warrant?
I mean,
you had probable.
That's exactly right. Especially if you think that if it's a really freaking emergency, you kick in the door. Now you don't take a bunch of pictures and fingerprints until you get a search warrant, but you got to go in and quell the uprising.
I mean, if you read it on Facebook, you got to go in there and check it out, right?
Well, hey, who knows? Ryan, she had some sympathy. I'm sorry, audience. We should have done a research. They were going to charge her while the charge carried first degree covered a death penalty under Missouri law. Or life county prosecutor would not seek either. Did you see the dude's name? God John. G-O-D.
Yeah, that was the guy she met off. Yes, Christian. Yeah. That just seems a little made up, right?
I don't, they have, oh my gosh. And he's apparently, the trial's postponed, psychiatric, because he has the intelligence quotation of an 82 and is in the autism spectrum. And it's suggested that he has a diminished capacity. He initially waived his right to a jury trial, but changed his mind. Oh my God. So you got this, dare I say, retarded, the opposite of advanced young man coming to save the day. He probably thought he was doing something good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, definitely. Yeah. So how does he get life in prison?
Apparently this is why, because they plotted to end the mother's abuse. And she also considered getting pregnant by him, hoping that she would carry this baby and that would rescue her.
Oh my God.
I need to quit reading this. You got me. Oh my God. They even stole some baby clothes from Walmart in a shoplifting spree. So to try to go ahead, when you got them You got them plans and they meet the undercover and he buys them a gun. You know what I mean? They got to do something to take it to the next level. You know, I'm talking about hand you the money or supply a gun or something. She gave him a knife, and then they went to Walmart and stole some baby clothes so he would know that she was serious about the pregnancy plan. I got to get off this. My freaking IQ just went down 10 points reading this.
Hey, by the way,
don't even mention it. I clicked off of it already. I'm off on it.
She got married to another guy while she's in jail.
It's because that's the way it works, man.
That guy killed for her, and she married another guy.
Well,
how crazy is that?
Well, that's a little easier than building a new freaking house to get them to leave.
Well, okay, so I'm gonna try to save this episode, and with some good news. How about that? I got some good news. At least in my world, is some good news. I got finally the new song I wrote, Shades of Grey for the Girls Next Door, comes out this Friday. So how about that? I'm kind of excited about that.
I am too.
We've been waiting a while.
I think we need to do an ode to Billy Joel. We need to do an ode to Dee Dee, whatever this people's name is. What did you just say?
Gypsy Rose?
Yeah. Hey, isn't that, we kept saying Gypsy Rose. I kept saying, wasn't that a Guns N' Roses song or something? Didn't somebody do it?
Hey, say, has anybody seen my sweet Gypsy Rose? Right? Tony Orlando and Dawn.
Maybe. Oh my God, that makes sense now. I see your mom.
Yeah. What's worse? I just sang a little bit on. Nobody's gonna claim that for singing. So.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully everybody goes out, pre-saves, listens to Shades of Grey. Everybody enjoys it. I think our listeners, our demographic, will appreciate the song and the message. So, we God bless Gypsy Rose. I hope she gets her stuff together, but
I think that's too late. That horse has left the barn.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of the From the Shadows podcast. Until next time, never shy away from the darkness or what may be lurking in the shadows. We are out.